We all grow up with myths. Some believe in superheroes, others dismiss them as comic book fantasies. Superman, Clark Kent in glasses by day, savior of the world by night, belongs to that second category. He's fiction. He's impossible. Or so we thought. In the early 2000s, whispers began in Chicago's underworld. A man, masked, fast, seemingly fearless, appeared in the dead of night. He rescued strangers from burning buildings, stopped armed robberies, and left criminals unconscious in alleys. He didn't carry guns. He didn't ask for reward. He simply vanished into the shadows. To the frightened, he was a savior. To the police, he was a vigilante. To the criminals, he was a ghost. The tabloids called him the Shadow Superman. But what happens when the line between hero and monster blurs? When the savior hides a darkness greater than the villains he hunts? This is the story of the real-life Superman. And it's darker than you can imagine. In March 2001, residents of an aging apartment block in Chicago's South Side awoke to choking smoke. A fire on the third floor had spread rapidly, trapping several families. Witnesses later told investigators that before firefighters arrived, a figure in a dark coat and mask smashed through a second-floor window. "He looked unreal," said Rosa Martinez, who was pulled out with her 2 children. "Like something from TV. He lifted us down, one by one. I couldn't see his face, just the mask, and the red cloth, like a cape, flying behind him." By the time the firefighters reached the scene, 5 people had already been carried to safety. The man was gone. It was written off as coincidence, maybe an off-duty cop, maybe a local athlete. But 2 weeks later, it happened again. This time, at a liquor store robbery, 2 masked gunmen stormed the counter. Before police could respond, a man in a trench coat appeared. One witness swore he caught a bullet in his hand. Police dismissed it as panic, but the criminals were found tied up outside the store, beaten, unconscious, weapons shattered. And then the sightings multiplied. Between 2001 and 2003, more than a dozen incidents were linked to the mysterious vigilante. A runaway subway car stopped before the derailment. A mugger left dangling by his ankles from a lamppost. An armed gang scattered by a single man with no weapon. The city divided. Some claimed Superman had come to life. Others argued it was a prank. Or worse, an organized criminal with a god complex. Detective Marlon Briggs, assigned to the vigilante case, described it bluntly. "Every time this guy showed up, crime stopped. That sounds good until you remember he wasn't accountable. He operated outside the law. That makes him dangerous. A hero doesn't hide in shadows." Still, people began to look for him. Candles appeared on rooftops. Children wore handmade masks, calling themselves Superman's sidekicks. The myth grew. But behind the myth, a darker truth waited. October 2003. A gang leader named Rico Trigger Salazar was found dead in an abandoned warehouse. His ribs shattered, jaw broken, lungs collapsed. Cause of death? Internal bleeding. Next to his body, painted in spray paint, a giant S. The press exploded. The Shadow Superman had crossed the line. Forensics revealed no weapon, just blunt force trauma as if delivered by bare hands. Salazar was a known criminal linked to extortion and trafficking, but vigilante justice had turned into execution. Detective Briggs warned publicly, "We are no longer looking at a hero. We are hunting a killer who thinks he's Superman." The myth of salvation turned into fear. Police traced rumors, tips, and street legends. A few leads pointed to Ethan Cross, a former firefighter who had vanished after a disciplinary scandal. Others mentioned Caleb Doyle, a war veteran suffering PTSD. One psychiatrist even claimed an ex-patient, an obsessive Superman fan, might be acting out his fantasy. But none of it stuck. The man never revealed his face, never left fingerprints. Only the victims, saved or punished, could testify, and their stories conflicted. Some swore he could bend metal. Others said he moved too fast to follow. Skeptics argued it was theatrics, smoke bombs, strength training, intimidation. Still, the body count grew. Between 2003 and 2006, at least 7 confirmed deaths were linked to the Shadow Superman. Each victim a criminal, but each death brutal. The myth might have lasted forever, if not for one mistake. In 2006, during a police sting operation, the vigilante intervened. He crashed into the scene, scattering a group of drug traffickers. But in the chaos, a stray blow struck Officer Dana Keller, breaking her neck. She died instantly. For the first time, the vigilante wasn't protecting the innocent, he had killed one. The city turned. Headlines screamed, "Superman is a killer." Police doubled their manhunt. The myth was now an outlaw.
By 2007, the Shadow Superman vanished. No rescues, no murders, just silence. But whispers claimed he still roamed. Homeless shelters told stories of a man with scarred knuckles who bought food for children. Gang members swore their comrades disappeared, bodies never found. Detective Briggs, long retired, gave one final interview. The truth is, we never caught him. Maybe he died, maybe he disappeared, or maybe he's still out there, waiting. The real question isn't who he was. The question is, was he ever a hero, or just another killer with a cape? Today, 20 years later, the Shadow Superman remains an unsolved case. Online forums debate endlessly. Was he Ethan Cross, Caleb Doyle, or someone else entirely? Some insist he was an ordinary man who wanted to do good and lost himself to violence. Others whisper about government experiments, secret soldiers, men trained to be more than human. But for those who lived in Chicago during those years, the memory lingers. Parents still warn their kids, don't wait for a hero. Heroes aren't real. And if they are, sometimes they're worse than the villains. The idea of Superman is simple: truth, justice, hope. But in reality, when a man tries to become Superman, justice twists into obsession, hope rots into fear, and truth drowns in blood. The Shadow Superman was no comic book savior. He was human, flawed, violent, and haunted. But perhaps that's the darkest truth of all. Sometimes the closest thing to a superhero is just another criminal in disguise.